Hello, welcome back everyone. I am your witch for the evening and I'm bringing you something a bit new. Welcome to this TCG tea room where I'm going to be bringing some guests on to have a chat, whether they be judges, players or casual lovers of the game. And today, to be fair, this is my channel, but people are going to know you more than me. Would you like to introduce yourself, my good sir?
Yes. So, hi, I'm Liam. I am the content creator behind Weiss and Chill. I've been creating videos on YouTube for over 4 years now, which sounds really crazy. And obviously, I started off doing Weiss Shorts content, and I have now obviously moved to the Hololive official card game. And not only that as well, I am a level 2 Bushiroad judge, and I have also assisted being a tournament organizer for the recent BCS and BSFs in Manchester.
I must say, like Manchester, the past 2 years has been fantastic. Honestly, in terms of venue and running has been great. But we'll get a bit more into that slowly through the interview. So today, just kind of want to talk about your experiences as a judge and how you've been finding things, kind of like enjoying the game and such. So yeah, so the first question actually would be, how did you get into judging? Because I don't think I have actually ever asked you this.
No,
So,
I don't know. Not many people do, to be fair. Apart from when people decide they want to become a judge themselves, and even then, not always. So it was during COVID when obviously we had the Bushiroad Rumble Onlines, and whilst I enjoyed playing, I was like, I want to do more for the community and support it more. And my thought was, well, see, with Bushiroad Rumble Online going on, why don't we look to judge? And they reopened the judge applications, and I was like, you know what, let's have a look, let's see what it does. And I did the test, and at the time there wasn't a requirement to step up from like your starting level judge to level 1 to level 2. There was an opportunity where I answered the questions really well. I then had an interview with Bushiroad, and they liked all my answers and basically made me a level 2 on the spot. Obviously, I'd done previous judging before, so I used to be a Konami judge. I have done stuff for other games as well, not as an official judge, but just like helping the community and running events. And yeah, basically that's sort of, you know, the idea of giving back to the community, wanting to support them, and stepping away from gaming a little bit and playing purely because whilst I love the game, don't get me wrong, and I still enjoy Weiss Shorts every now and then, and I still play it casually. I've still got a few decks left over from what I've sold. But I just enjoy being behind the scenes more. I'm quite a nosy person, I'll be honest. And and I like working behind the scenes and always have done. And I've always wanted to go into, you know, event management and things like that as a job. And obviously the first step into that for me, at least at the time, was to become a judge for Bushiroad. So I did that, and yeah, did Bushiroad Rumble Online as head judge. I also then went on obviously to start doing more in-person events when they started happening again back in 2022, where I head judged in Austria and the UK in Leeds. And then I've head judged a couple of times in Cardiff when BCS was there at Firestorm. But yeah, that's basically, you know, that's my judging situation. Obviously, that's now converted more into more TO side, working alongside Bliss, which has been amazing. Yeah, honestly, the whole point of it was that, you know, I really wanted to help people out. I wanted to make sure that, you know, we had really good quality judges for the program. And yeah, I'm just a bit of a nosy bugger where I wanted to just be involved in the backstage stuff.
I mean, that's as good as reason as any. And from my point of view, from what you have done for the community, honestly, I've watched you from the start when you was just streaming, and I'd pop on your stream and I'd be sat in my little box room playing on the floor just so we could have a game. And to watching you do this now, your journey has been fantastic to watch.
I appreciate it. It's been a wild 4 years. It's been an inconsistent 4 years. And like, you know, I've been trying to do videos twice, 3 times a week. And I've not uploaded a video for about 2 weeks because I've just not had the energy. And that's fine. You know, there are times where you just need a break. And, you know, I don't earn a lot of money off this. I do it purely for the love of it. And if I feel that I need a break, I need a break. And that's okay. and I don't have to announce it. I just do it. But yeah, no, it's been a really wild 4 years. You know, hitting 7,000 subscribers on YouTube has been absolutely manic. I don't know, like, you know, ever since starting covering the Hololive card game, it's just blown up. You know, I think before I started covering the game, I was on about 800 subscribers. So the fact it's blown up to nearly 10 times that is madness. It's absolutely madness. But I love it and I enjoy it and I love facilitating for the community and, you know, providing that support, providing that insight, being knowledgeable in the games and sharing my insights, as well as giving a platform for people to come on and showcase their talent and showcase their decks and, you know, doing my gameplay streams or, you know, I'm going to be starting doing more community deck logs or deck profiles and things like that, similar to what base damage do with Cade and that. I do want to do more of that sort of thing. So yeah, no, I just really enjoy doing it. I really do.
I think that is one of the things that you've certainly brought in terms of like when you went from Weiss to Hololive, you've brought like a nice little community together. The Weiss isn't abandoned because the community was already there. So those guys are still there, but then a lot of us are, I say us, a lot of people do transition onto the Hololive TCG because it is already in Weiss, so it's like a natural progression. One day I may let you still teach me how to play it at some point.
I've got plenty of decks that I can show you, so don't you worry. One day.
I was like, yeah, no. To be fair, when we did Manchester, I was like, this is not the time for me to learn. I should be playing. But I think it is one of those I do want to learn and just pick up a little bit, even if it's just like on a casual side of things. But where I am at the moment with locals, like I can't play it as much. But I swear, I will learn it.
Yeah, so I think it's one of those things where, especially now where we're seeing that there is the potential of doing Hololive and Weissports on the same weekend at a BCS, where, you know, Weissports will be one day and Hololive will be the other day. I think it makes worth going to those BCSs a bit more worth it in the sense of actually going for the full weekend and actually taking part in 2 days of tournaments, which is really cool, providing that you want to, of course. You know, some people like to go for the whole weekend and just have a day to themselves, which, you know, absolutely fair. But at the same time, some people like to go, you know what, I go for 1 day, I might as well go for a second day. And Hololive gives the opportunity, especially to Weissports players.
So going on back into the event side of things, so this year, as we were saying, I think that this was it the first event where Hololive was also featured in a BCS?
Correct, yes. Yeah, so it wasn't part of BCS, but it was held at the same event as BCS.
So close. So for you, so for Manchester, what is it exactly you was covering? Can you talk about your experience a little bit for Manchester?
Yeah.
You only did Manchester this year, didn't you? Or have I made that up?
That's correct, yes. I only did Manchester this year. So day one, I was co-TO, where I helped run, obviously, Vanguard and Weiss day one. We'll come up to it later with the mishap that happened in Manchester when you came up to me and went, "Are you okay? I've got to go." I was like, "Yeah, sorry," and I was just in my zone, and I'll talk about that later because it's something that I own up to, and you know, it's human error, and you know, we'll come to that. But yeah, so obviously for the whole BCS, I was working. Oh god, a good 3 months in advance with Steve from Bliss, making sure that we had everything right, making sure we had all the right promos, making sure that we had any assets and things like that made, making sure that we had the right plans for like table setups and everything like that. So I was involved in a lot of the organization for the event months before it even happened. Same with BSF. And I believe I'm involved with BSF again this year, which is really, really exciting. So yeah, so I was obviously, I helped get the team of judges together as well. So I was the main source of communication for the actual judges, actually organizing what judges were picked. Whilst it was not my decision to make a final decision, I was the one that said, here are the judge lists. These are the people that are in the UK. Let's reach out to them. If they turn around and say yes, great. If they don't, then fair enough. So yeah, my main roles were, again, organising the judge team, organising some of the event logistics, and also then actively being a TO on day one, running Bushy Navi and things like that. And then day two, I helped them set up day one, day two even. I also provided a load of like stream equipment so people could still stream. So whilst I was in a position where I wasn't able to stream, unfortunately. Zystrel Ben from Yellow Card live streamed all of the Weissports tournament. using my equipment basically. So I set all that up and brought all my equipment so it could still happen, which was really good. And yeah, like I said, I helped them set up day 2, and then I actually played in the Hololive event, which was good fun.
How did you do in the Hololive event, if you don't know? That's always a good sign.
So yeah, I lost round 1 in 3 turns because I just bricked so hard and there was nothing I could do. But then I won all the rest of I lost round 4, so I went 3-2 in the end. So I came positive at least. But my because of it being a only exos qualify, as soon as I lost round 1, I was like, yeah, this is bad. So I just had fun. It was great.
The thing when it's that they're introducing these tournaments at a big scale, though, and you're there like, if you dropped from round 1, you're losing the new experience you're going to be gaining and talking to people. Because I don't know about you, but for the Weiss tournament, I was handing out all sorts of like little goodies and stuff, and like little cards that I was like, come to my channel. So maybe we'll do that for you for Hololive next year. Well, I don't need it though. Like everyone
it was great. Like obviously, originally the Hololive cap, like for the player base, like for the tournament, was only 50.
Yeah,
and it was a bit like, oh god, like 50, that's going to go instantly, and it did. It went very, very quickly. Then I was talking with Steve from Bliss and sort of said, look, you can easily get this increased, and I think we should really push to be increased to at least 80. And then it got increased to 80. It's like fantastic. And then I saw that there was like 90 odd people signed up still, so some people were still missing out. And I'm like, look, what are your player caps for each event for each day? Are things misaligned somewhere? And we looked at it and went, actually, Shadowverse for some reason had 150 people dedicated to it. And I'm like, Shadowverse doesn't, for UK, Shadowverse needs 80, maybe 100.
Yeah.
And I think Shadowverse on the day had about 67 or 8 players, something like that. Maybe a few more. So I was like, look, increase Hololive to 100. There are people waiting. And so, again, with a lot of persuasion and speaking to Bushy Road and things like that, we did get it increased to 100, which was amazing. I mean, I think there was only 79 players anyway in the end that actually showed up. But again, I think that was partly down to because the last cap increase was so late.
Yeah.
People have already not paid hotels and things like that. And it was by the time when trying to look for places, it was so expensive that it was just not worth going, which is a shame. But that means that for next time, it means that we can have that higher cap from the beginning and people will be more interested and we'll have a better turnout. But at least we've proved that Hololive has got that attention and has got that following and player base to the point where, not even after 1 year, the UK player base is getting very close to matching what already exists for Weiss after over 10 years. So the player base is there and it's constantly, even my locals today, we had 2 new people play today. So there are new people every single time and it's great. And yeah, it's just awesome seeing that facility, and it's so awkward when I go to my local tournament and they turn around and go, I was like, oh yeah, I've got into the game. Blah, blah, blah. Wait, you're the guy that does the channel, right? And I'm like, yeah.
So
I was like, I found the game because of your videos. I'm like, that's really cool, and that is one of the main things why I do this. I do this because I want people to get into a game that isn't as well known, because let's be honest, Bushy Road's marketing and PR stuff is lacking, for lack of better words. They could do a lot more and they don't. They think it will be as easy to do the marketing side as it is in Japan, because Japan, it sells itself.
Yeah.
In the West, it doesn't. You look at the likes of other card games that, have fantastic PR, fantastic publicity, and they grow incredibly huge. Look at One Piece, for example, and look at Gundam.
Yeah.
Those are brand new games that have just blown up. And Bushy Road games have that ability. They do. But the marketing is just not good enough. It's not catered for a Western audience, which is a shame, because the games are amazing and they're fantastic games to play if people actually knew they existed.
I think in comparison, when you talk about One Piece and you look at Pokemon and you look at these have a corresponding anime that have been out for many years, whereas Weiss is kind of the opposite. There is a card game that has the corresponding anime within it, but it's not the basis of it. So it's not like they
Yes.
could say, we're going to make a Weiss anime. Well, that's not going to work, is it? Because you've got all these different IPs. How would you do that? That's why I
Yeah.
think Vanguard is the way it is, because you have 200 people at these events, probably plus. I can't remember.
Yeah,
You
Vanguard had 330 odd.
Okay, so it has 300, but the anime for that has been going for, again, 10 plus years. That's how I got into Bushiroad games. I was playing Vanguard. Because I went from Yu-Gi-Oh to Vanguard to Weiss in the end. And when something's got a corresponding anime, which is easy to find because it was on YouTube, that's where the player base grows.
Yeah,
Yu-Gi-Oh! We all know Yu-Gi-Oh! From our childhood. I mean, I still want to redo the anime that follows the manga perfectly. I want to see the murderous, sadistic clown that is Duke Devlin's father.
yeah. I've literally, funnily enough, I've literally restarted watching 5Ds. It's my favorite arc, and I've just started rewatching it.
And again, it's like, oh, it's favorite arc. You'll go back to watch it, and you might go, maybe I'll. If you had Yu-Gi-Oh players around you, or if you had friends who liked it, you might dabble back into the game. That's not the same for Weiss, but could we potentially see a difference with the Switch and the PC games coming out? Although they do need to make different IPs and try and get more into it, because there's only like what 5 per version.
Game. That's right. Yeah, I think it's 4 or 5. Yeah, it's not many.
Don't get me wrong, I'm so excited for Aragiri because I'm going to bully people with that deck because it's just so fun. But at the end of the day, that's where the marketing falls flat for Weiss, because there's no correspondence. Whereas, let's say, if you had a spokesperson in the UK who did a Bushiroad dedicated channel, hint, hint, I'm available, who, I don't know, did fun things when a set came out. So they cosplayed the event and would do a deck profile, or they would sit with you, play a couple of games with the deck, open cases, open a box. I know we've got Treze collectibles who do that sort of thing, but in terms of over here as well, having a Bushiroad dedicated channel, would that be so bad? Because you could incorporate a lot of fun things with it. You could get someone doing the Iris Out dance, you could get someone doing the Ocean Oak Code dance and do little funny bits, and there is the potential. But whoever marketing Bushiroad people are, they, like you said, they think that potentially it's going to just work out like Japan, but you don't have a corresponding anime, you don't have a corresponding manga. You need to work that tiny bit harder for it to make it happen.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that I think that can really help Bushiroad, and they are getting better, but it's still not good enough, is use your content creators more. Like, they started to invite content creators to World Finals, which is cool. They're still having to pay for it out of their own pocket, which, sure, is what it is, but, it's still showing that they are doing something. They're doing the World Finals commentators and things like that. They're happy to allow casting of BCSs and things like that, which is amazing. So they're doing the right things. But I do think they need to do more, even if it's like they have a slight marketing budget where it's like, okay, we've got 10 boxes of this new product, let's send it to 10 content creators. They did it for Guilty Gear Strive, for example, where they gave content creators exclusive reveals. And they also sent out some boxes to open for people, especially there were some content creators that aren't even linked to Weiss, but are part of the Guilty Gear Strive scene, who got boxes given to them by Bushiroad, which, again, I think that is a clever marketing move. And they need to do more stuff like that. And I think that they can lean on their content creators more to do a lot of their marketing work for them. Because all it's going to cost them is a box, or 2 boxes, or a trial deck. It's not like cost-wise in terms of like the physical material cost for them. It's not a lot, really not. And especially when they've got a lot of creators in America, and they've got obviously Bushiroad USA, they can utilize that a lot more. Again, it's a shame that Bushiroad EU no longer exists. And obviously it means bringing people from the EU to that sort of thing makes it more difficult. Yes, they can use the likes of Bliss, they can use Blackfire to like help synergize all that, but they haven't got the time or resource to manage that. And I still firmly believe that there should be, like a judge program, there should be a content creator program where they have people who are content creators of certain areas. They can then have a lead content creator per region to help like manage the content creators and help manage, who gets what and things like that. To take some of the workload off Bushiroad. But unfortunately, Bushiroad are very much, they like to do things their way, only their way, and with their staff. And that's it. They don't like bringing in external help, which stunts a lot of the things they could do. I have spoken quite a lot about this. Ironically, I've actually got a meeting on Friday with Bushiroad regarding Hololive, which is really exciting. I can't share too much about it, but it's some really exciting stuff that I'm hopefully working on alongside that, which will be really cool. But yeah, I think that there is a lot more that could be done for Bushiroad games, utilizing content creators and utilizing members of the community, like keystone members of the community, to help promote their games and help promote events and make bigger and better events. And one thing that we've had this discussion before, put an entry cost on BCS. It doesn't have to be a lot, £5-10, but that will help pay for a better venue, for better support, and it will bring more people in as long as you don't overdo it. So, and we are seeing things where they are starting to toy around with the idea. Obviously, we've seen the Shadowverse Grand Showdowns. That's got an entry fee, and that's going really well. And yeah, I think there's more they can do with the other games as well. But that's in their court, and all we can do is suggest it and hope they take it on board.
It's not like we would turn around as content creators and say, no, I don't want to do it. We're easy to pay. Give me a couple of free boxes and I would be happy. And I will happily sit here for half an hour, record a video and do a deck building session. So you gave me a trial deck and 2 boxes, or 2 trial decks and a box. And you go, the challenge is make the best deck that you can out of that. And you could be like, everyone posts it on Twitter or X, whatever it is, on Instagram. Make it so much more interactive. Because we always know, like, Weiss is like one of the most uninteractive games, to be fair, for card games. Because most of the time your opponent's just doing stuff. The most interaction you get is like, I don't know, a counter or something.
Yeah.
And we are doing this content because we love the game that we're making content for.
Yeah.
We're here. We are a simple email away. We are a Discord message away. Instagram, X. We're all the end of the day, we're free, essentially. We're free marketing. Where's your budget going to go? Okay, we'll spend some money shipping these out. There you go. I mean, if you can do it for a giveaway, maybe don't do the giveaways, which I know would be a shame, but increase promo participations around the stores, make them a bit more worth it to go get people playing for that set, and then maybe go, okay, we'll send the content creators the boxes instead. That's where the budget gets shifted. But then if you want people to get the products, you could say like, for Meister sets, instead of a promo, you get to go in a box. And it's a special box with an SP in it or something. They could make that
happen. There are many options. I personally, I think the giveaways are a great idea. I think what they've done with that is really awesome. But again, let's be honest. From a marketing cost perspective, that costs less than £100.
Yeah.
Realistically, less than 100, including shipping, less than £100. If they can increase their marketing budget to say £500 and do some boxes for content creators, or even if it's content creators that are outside of the game, outside the sphere, people that might have like 10, 20, 30,000 subscribers, but doing another card game, go, oh, look, here's another card game. Open a product for us and give us a review. Like, what's wrong with doing stuff like that? Like, whilst I still think, definitely reward those that are dedicated to your games, look at external, like look at other people. It will help grow the game to a market that doesn't know that we exist, and we'll grow the games. Ultimately, marketing has got to see a return of investment. That is how marketing works. And giving it to people who are active content creators in their game isn't really going to increase new people into the game. Let's be honest. But getting people that are outside of the game trying things out will bring people into the games. But it's finding that balance again, like honoring the loyalty, but also getting that return of investment. So that is something that Bushiroad needs to figure out and understand what the best way to do it is. But there have been a lot of improvements recently, and things are getting better. They've still got a long way to go, but we are seeing progress, and that's what's important currently.
Yeah, and we can only see where it's going to go from here, and we can only hope. I don't know if anyone at Bushy will ever see this, but I'd like to hope that they are going to listen to us as not so much as content creators, but as a community, what we would like to see in terms of content as well. And when
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the video from Chairman and the rest of Collectibles guys, where they actually spoke about the Weiss drought in terms of content.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what's pushing me to try and do a bit more, to try and be there for the community, try and do something a bit different. But Bushiroad could also be a part of that change, because if you are a part of the change, you could see a lot more money coming in. And I'm just
Yeah.
saying, maybe you'll have the money to bring the IPs in with signatures every now and then.
Yeah. But that's the right point, no, because I think that like Tress has said, with the Weiss content drought and things like that, I've shifted from Weiss to Hololive, for example. There were obviously people that were active in the Weiss community who now aren't, which is a real shame. And there were some fantastic creators. Like at the moment, in terms of Weiss like consistent creators, I can name 4, maybe at most. Like Tressers, Lunchbox, yourself, and Husky's been doing quite a bit recently, which is really cool. Whilst she caters to a very different audience, but it's great, and I love what she does. I think the space is there for it, and it's really awesome. And obviously, Base Damage. They're the only active Weiss creators that I can think of off the top of my head. Obviously, 3-6 cancelled. They went and disappeared a while back. Obviously, I've now moved on. And whilst I still play the game, and nowhere near as much as I used to, I am still an active creator in Bushiroad games. So it's one of those things where I think that if there was more incentive, like a program to help content creators, give them the assets that they need to be able to make thumbnails, or again, providing boxes to be able to open to make those videos, I think it would be a massive help. And it rewards the loyalty of those creators. And obviously, I'm just talking purely on a Weiss perspective. Obviously, Vanguard as well has got some amazing creators as well. So Shadowverse. You've got the likes of Different Fight, who does a lot of Vanguard and Shadowverse stuff. You've got Ignious and Shadowverse. You've got obviously Yellow Card for Vanguard. The creators are there and they want to help. They all do this. They don't do it for money, because let's be honest, the money from YouTube and stuff like that, even at my point where, hitting the subscribers I am and still getting decent-ish views, I don't see a lot of money from YouTube at all. Like, I see maybe, I'll be honest, like £50 every 2-3 months. Like, that's it. I don't see a lot. But I don't do it for that. I do it because I want to show my love for the game, get people excited, bring new people into the community and help them get in. And I feel that with the Bushiroad games, that is the majority of what it is, if not all of it, honestly, because there isn't another incentive there. And whilst that is in some ways a good thing, because you're not getting those people that are doing it just to milk the cow, as it were, I do think that there needs to be a bit more just to help, I guess. But again, we have diverted on the content creation side. But I think it is an important point, and it's, you will be surprised at how much Bushiroad do see from creators.
Yeah.
I know that they are very aware of my channel. For example, I know they are very, especially like Bushiroad and Cover, I know are aware of my content and they watch my content, and they, I've seen that, that's been happening, and I've had communications that have definitely alluded to that. And you say, oh, will Bushiroad see this? They could do. Honestly, like, you would be surprised at how much they actually keep tabs on things like this.
This is where just in a week's time you go, hey, what happened to that video we did? I had a cease and desist.
No,
but no, yeah. So yeah, we gotta say we just gotta keep pushing. I think as a community, as content creators, we just keep pushing for what we want to see,
Hmm.
and sometimes eventually they have no choice but to listen.
Yeah, and that's it. You know, I've been active in trying to open communications, in trying to get things to happen, and I think that me alongside other creators have been doing the same, and that has caused some of the changes we have already seen, which is great. So they are listening, they are like wanting to take action.
Yeah.
It's just not enough yet. But I have faith that something will happen. I genuinely like in the next. It might take 2 to 5 years, but I do think something will happen that will be huge to help support content creators for their games.
And speaking of something to happen, to go back on sort of the route that we were going on eventually, but speaking of content, so they are doing a announcement stream
Yes.
for World. So is there something you would expect to see from there? I mean, like we'll probably see another English exclusive, guaranteed, right? We'll do another one, would we say?
Yeah, I'd assume so. Like, I would expect there to be another stream in terms of like an English exclusive. No idea what it could be. No idea. Obviously, you know, Eminence in the Shadow was a bit of a curveball, but again, I think it's a fantastic license to get. I think that, yeah, I would expect some form of English exclusive. I would also expect to see more like Japanese sets come over, of course. You know, so we've had the stuff for ReZero Volume 3.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So, like, there are some licenses that I think will do really well in English. It's just a matter of bringing them over again, getting the licenses, getting the approvals, whatever the cost of royalties are, and things like that. I think that there is a huge opportunity. What's gonna come out? I genuinely don't know. Obviously, we've seen Uma Musume come to English. We could see another Uma Musume set, which could do really well. You know, that's blown up because of the mobile game in English. Yes, Sass. Hello. No, I'm doing an interview with Em. I'm doing an interview with Emily. We can cut this. It's fine.
I will try and edit that bit out.
It's fine.
If I can't, I'm sorry.
No, you're all good. But anyway, yeah, I think that, you know, the spring conference will be interesting. I think it'll be interesting to see. I think the first thing is what's going to happen with Vanguard in terms of, you know, what's happening with Premium, for example.
Yeah.
We've noticed that, you know, it seems to be slowly being laid to rest a little bit. Are they going to confirm the end of Premium? We don't know. That's the thing that could come up. Obviously, Weiss, you've got all the new sets and things like that. Potentially, obviously, some introductions for, you know, upcoming special events like your Meister Cups, your Title Cups, and things like that could be really cool. Or Shadowverse. I don't know much about Shadowverse. Again, I think they might announce something regarding the Grand Showdowns and things like that. Obviously, they're going to make announcements about Worlds as well. Hololive, I assume that they'll be speaking about, obviously, the upcoming sets, and usually the Hololive segments in the Bush Road English streams are pretty small, and it's not stuff that's like new to us. The only thing I expect to see is obviously some new exclusive English merch for the special events, such as the Entry Cup and the Bloom Cups and things like that. So we might see some like exclusive promos. We might get some exclusive news regarding some EN exclusive cards, i.e., like EN exclusive artworks on cards that exist in Japanese.
Yeah.
Because we've seen quite a few of those. For example, Narissa is getting her own exclusive English secret signed card. Which was in the Japanese version and is in the English version, which is really cool.
Tell me that.
So yeah, I'm excited to see what comes up. I'm very curious. Like, I'm curious to what they're going to do. I think the last couple of streams have been, or the last couple of conferences, to say they've been lackluster is the wrong word, but I feel like they've been missing something to make people go, "Oh my god, what is this?" They've been missing something, so I'm hoping, like back when they used to do it, and there was like these news things, and like, oh my god, this is actually a really big announcement. I'm hoping we get to see something for that. I assume we'll get stuff, obviously, more news about BSF.
Yeah.
Obviously, 'cause that's starting very soon. Starting in May, which is really quick.
Yeah, that's really quiet. Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. It really will.
I I know what I'd like to see come into English exclusive, obviously. I'd love to see them try and introduce Blow over here.
Sure.
I think that'd be something that'd be really cool. But that is just me,
Yeah.
just so I can go, can I have my Hello Kitty set, please, in English? And then I'll be like, so what do you mean I've just bought a case? Oh no.
Oops.
Let's not make the financial decision. Uh, I'd like to see them do something, like you said, interesting that makes me go, oh my god. I'd like to see something a bit more as well for entry again. Because don't get me wrong, promo packs are nice. But I miss the day where we used to get sleeves, deck boxes, a storage box. But again,
Yeah.
I don't mind paying the £10, £5, £10, and it gets me a storage box and a promo card. Like, keep the promo cards, obviously, because what is a promo card to print out? But
Exactly.
give me a storage box. I liked the lanyards. I've got to.
Yes.
I do like the lanyards. That's fine, but I do just want a little bit more in terms of entry. So I'd like to see them announce something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they introduce something for Hololive to make me lose my stuff. If it's like, oh, here's a Mori deck or Mori exclusives, then oh no, I am gonna be like, Liam, when can we meet up so you can teach me Hololive properly?
Hey, Callie's got a decent deck at the moment with Shiori. It's a decent deck.
Oh, don't tell me that.
And then she gets a meta deck with set 6, which comes out in June.
Oh no, don't tell me stuff like that. You know, Kali Maushi, Kali Maushi. But it's just gonna be interesting to see what they do at Worlds. I want something that makes me go, oh my god, I got up early for this. I'm so glad I've watched all the stream for this today.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to be like, oh, we're all like going back and forth and stuff in the chats, and we're like, this has been announced, this has been announced, because there just hasn't been anything like that for a while, and I do want.
Yeah,
to
even the Japanese streams haven't. Like, there's nothing that's made you go, oh my god. Like, I think the last one we had that sort of made people go, oh my god, was when Disney first came out with Pixar.
I think that when it was the Toy Story anniversary set, that made me go, oh, and then they showed some of the arts, and I was like, no, that's cool. They've got some of the concept arts on first seconds. That's really cool. I reckon they'll announce box changes to the western side of the game.
Yes, because they've already announced it's happening.
And it started with summer pockets in JP, so I reckon we'll see that coming over as well, which could mean cheaper cases, which actually could mean more product sales, because if you're spending $250 on a playset, for example, but cases are not much
300.
more,
yeah,
I'm going to buy a case because I want the SPs and the foils and the SRs, and I want all the good stuff.
Yeah, it could kill the singles market a little bit, but but I'd rather it be sealed product, because then it's money in Bushiroad's hands, which then can be used into other things.
Yeah.
So, like, I think for the longevity of the game, it is a necessary thing to happen. The single markets will never die, but, like the card market not helping Europe at the moment, which is grim. But it won't die. It will take a hit, but then it will come back. And I think that's okay.
I think because you'll see more people opening the products, because if only one case is getting you a playset and maybe a bit, then people will probably be opening 2 cases, and then that's where you'll go, oh, there's the singles, I want the foils, and everything coming as a foil does make a difference. So I think, like you said, there is something coming. Will this stream be the start of it? Who knows? Are we going to start seeing some positive changes? We know what we want to see. We've talked about what we want to see, so yeah, honestly, I am excited. I'm excited. I reckon they'll do something with the announcements for the video games as well, which I'm so excited for.
Yes,
and I do hope there'll be there'll be some. Actually, speaking of that, I reckon Aragiri could get announced into English, because if they're doing
Aragiri could,
and I think that'd be a good one. And that was very popular. That would be something I would probably go, oh, do I really need an English deck of this as well? But it is, and I think that could be something that could help not disrupt the meta, but I hope we do get to the point where if they do look at ban lists from this point onwards, because I think they're going to have to look at Worlds afterwards and reevaluate the ban list, because let's face it, one of the 119s does nothing, everyone is going to find their copy at some point.
Yes, absolutely.
You have deck and waiting room access. Oh no, I triggered it in stock. I'll pay it out.
It's. I think all of the restriction list update was great, except for Overlord. I think Overlord was a miss.
Yeah.
But again, like hitting Bang Dream the way they have, I think was the right thing to do. And hitting the other stuff that we've seen, I think was the right thing to do. But Overlord,
yeah. Sorry.
That's
It's to say that because they edited the Sword Art one to match what was in JP, and I'm like, that's cool because people who like that IP can start playing it again in tournaments, which is fantastic again.
Mm-hmm.
As we're saying, the Overlord one was just everyone sits there and goes,
hey.
Oh no, this 1/1 Eins is now going to become a 2/1 Yuri. Alright.
Okay. Okay. It's wild. We'll see what happens at World at the end of the day. Like, I think we're going to see a significant representation of Overlord at Worlds.
Yeah.
Because I think it is the most untouched deck.
Yeah.
And it might make them go, yeah, okay, we missed the mark here. But again, you just don't know until it happens, right? So we'll see.
What are you expecting to see at Worlds?
I think you're still going to see a lot of Hololive. Because I think that, Hololive is still one of those decks that even though it's had the restriction, obviously had the addition of the Polka, which does stunt the standby deck a fair bit. I think there are still enough good decks in Hololive that will still do well, such as Watame Marine. 8 standby is still a good deck. It's not a dead deck. It's just been neutered a little bit. I think, obviously, Overlord's going to be there a lot. I think Bang Dream will still see a fair bit of play.
Oh, yeah.
I still think that... I think Ruby's going to make more of an appearance now as well, especially the standby build. I think that we'll see Dandadan. Obviously, Dandadan was a bit of a surprise win in Manchester. The 8-choice build. I think it's actually a very interesting deck.
It was a bar that won Manchester.
Sorry?
It was a bar that won Manchester.
I thought it was 8-choice.
No, it was a bar. It was the Ira build. That was my thought as well. But a lot of people do like the choice because of the way Okarun goes, attack, replace yourself, do burn damage, attack, no, and it's like he's literally going.
It reminds me a lot of how D4DJ plays.
It does.
I love D4DJ. It's such a fun deck. But yeah, I think that I think there's going to be a good. I think that it's going to be one of the more balanced metas we'll see.
Yeah.
Except Overlord, and I think that's going to be a thing.
I think we'll see Oshi because
yes, Oshinoko absolutely.
In our Sunday juice boxes, I'm kind of staying away from them a little bit because I'm like everyone is just playing ready for Worlds, and at the moment it was all Oshi this weekend. I'm like, no, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot barge pole. I'm just I'm gonna wait for a little bit.
Yeah, Doorgate's a very good deck. 8-choice is still pretty good as well. You've still got some very, very good decks in Oshinoko. I also think, because if I remember rightly, Eminence comes out just before Worlds.
Yeah, so it'll be.
I think we might see some surprises in Eminence in the Shadow. But people giving it a go and using that. Oh, it's a new set. People don't know how to deal with it. Let's use it. Like, that's what got me to Worlds when I qualified with Bunny Girl. It was a brand new deck that, unless you was in the Japanese scene, you did not know what the deck did. You did not know what standby truly could do. And I used that to my advantage when I qualified. So I think you are going to see people do that. Again, like they did with 7 Deadly Sins when it first came out. People use it as a bit of a, how do you deal with this? So I think you are going to see that as well. I'm interested to see what will take the top. My prediction is that Overlord will win. But I could be easily shocked with an Eminence win. I wouldn't be surprised that Oshinoko does well. I wouldn't be surprised if Dandadan does well. So, and again, I wouldn't be surprised if Hololive does well, because Hololive just shows up out of nowhere. Someone's probably cooked with it and done something really special. But we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to see. I'll be watching along.
So, yeah, I think we've covered everything we wanted to say and gone off on a tangent today, to be fair.
Yes, we have. No, it's been fun. It's been good.
No, it's been great to have you on, and thank you again for agreeing to do this with me.
No,
And
you're all good.
yeah, it's been good to just kind of have a rant about these sort of things as well. A rant and a tangent, but kind of get to know you from the judgy side of things as
Mm.
well. And from a creator side of things of what we would like to see as a community. And I'd like to know what others like in the comments, if people want to comment what they want to see,
Mm.
because we are just two voices and there are
Mm.
hundreds, thousands, millions of people who play this, who are in Bushy Road games, who are in card games in general. So we want to hear, and you know, we'll see what
Yeah.
goes on. And
Uh,
all I can say is all the best for your talk about Hololive on Friday. So
yeah, we'll see what happens. It's going to be really exciting. We'll see what happens. But I have some good hopes.
So, just to kind of round off things, is there anything you want to say and anyone you want to be like, oh, push anything or anything you want to talk about for the last couple of minutes as a goodbye send off sort of
Yeah,
thing?
sure. So I think, first of all, thank you to everyone who's supported in the community, not just in obviously Weiss and Hololive for me, but obviously all around Busheroad Games. I think that, community was what drives these games, especially with how small they are compared to other TCGs. And, I think the community of Busheroad Games is one of the best in the world, like compared to others. I think everyone's so nice, and they really want to look after the community and help it grow. I would say that for those in the community who, people complain and rant about wanting changes, be and talk about the change you want. You know, tag Bushy Road, post about it on X, or do videos on YouTube, and don't be afraid to just say something. That's got me to the position where I am now, where I'm in some really good active talks, and it's the only way to get things changed. So, speak up, keep supporting the community, keep being awesome, and yeah, thank you for having me on, of course.
No, it's really been great having you on. Any shout outs you want to do before we say goodbye?
Obviously, subscribe to my channel, Weiss and Chill. Find me on YouTube, find me on Twitch, find me on X, find me on Insta, though I don't really post on there. Find me on TikTok, I don't really post on there either. But do that as well. I've got a Discord server. We talk about all things Hololive. We talk about a lot of Weiss shorts and a lot of other casual nerdy stuff. So make sure you come and check out my Discord server as well. And I guess not sure when this video will go out, but if you are around on the 17th of April, I am doing a master case opening stream for the latest set Enchant Regalia for the Hololive official card game from London, which will be really awesome. So if you could tune in and watch that, that would be awesome.
Nice. Well, thank you ever so much again for joining us. And yeah, so if you ever want to do anything, and I'm pretty sure at some point you'll be like doing a teaching video if you want to use me as the guinea pig, I'm
Yes.
more than happy to.
Yes, it would be really fun. We should absolutely do that.
We will find some time to meet up, I think, and I would love to do that because I haven't seen you in person since Manchester, so we'll
No,
do something
yeah,
fun.
absolutely. Absolutely. I look forward to it.
Perfect. Thank you ever so much again to Liam, aka Weiss and Chill, for joining, and thank you for you guys for staying all the way to the end for our little ramble. We have absolutely enjoyed it. And till the next time, till you come to the tea room, remember they cancel eventually, and have a good day, guys. Bye.
Bye bye.